Hi, my name is Shreya, and welcome to my podcast, All About Her, where a confused high schooler, aka me, interviews influential women to learn about their experiences and advice for girls like me. Today, I'll be interviewing Maria Chavez, a prominent member of many STEM-related projects and companies here in California. Let's jump right into it. Okay, so why don't you just tell me a little bit about yourself, just as an introduction, so the listeners know.
Yeah, great. Well, my name's Maria Chavez. I'm the current president at BioCurious, also a board member there. I run classes and community projects, which include things like the Real Vegan Cheese Project. I've been a founding member of Open Insulin and founding member of the Cuttlefish Project, the Bioprinter Project, etc. I also help run as a co-organizer the Global Community Biosummit, as well as the Global Community Biosummit Leadership Fellowship. And I'm a board member of the Mistletoe Foundation Fellowship Program, which is a program which helps match postdocs in STEM with startup companies.
All right. But going back to way back when you were in school, high school, and growing up and stuff, what was initially your first dream jobs or what you saw yourself doing in the future?
That's really hard to say. I think I always knew I would end up in STEM in some way. I went to a private Catholic school, and in high school I did several internships at the national laboratories, so Los Alamos National Laboratory. So always figured I'd wind up doing something in STEM, although I always pictured engineering more than science.
Oh, that's interesting. And so did you find this passion for STEM by doing these internships, or what initially sparked that for you?
I think I was just always interested in science. I mean, I was very fortunate to grow up near the national labs. My father worked as an engineer for the Department of Energy at Los Alamos National Lab. And so you grow up around a lot of scientists in that area. And it gives you a deep interest in it. But my brain was always a little bit more interested in the math and science. And it's why my degree is actually in programming and operating systems, though. That kind of linear thinking. But having not taken a linear path through my career, I've bounced through a lot of different fields, including working at an ISP, involved a lot in working with DSL lines. I worked at Apple for quite a while, and then I moved into biotech. And biotech is really where I got my real interest renewed in STEM.
Okay. How about some struggles that you face in your career now, or you faced prior to getting into an actual business or things like that? What did you face most often?
I don't know if it's struggles. I think trying to define what career and what field I want to be in, because I've liked to be challenged. So I think the biggest struggle I've often faced is trying to keep busy. You still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So trying to keep busy, stay interested, and keep engaged. So that's probably why I'm on so many different projects, because I do like to have a variety of things I'm involved in a variety of projects.
Okay.
I think getting to try a lot of things is really important, and not to be too focused on doing just a single thing, but seeing like more of a holistic approach to, it's not necessarily just STEM, but how broad and focused STEM is and how STEM integrates into the rest of our society.
Yeah, that's a really good message, actually. But what's a time you did something that maybe you regret, or you were discouraged by something that happened in your process of entering so many different fields, or doing something that, yeah.
No, I wouldn't say I regret it now, but I did, as I said, I didn't take a linear way through life. I took a lot of hard roads. One of the harder roads I took was actually going to college. So my first time through college, I went on a full NASA scholarship. It was as a NASA scholar, it was a 4-year full scholarship with guaranteed internships with NASA.
Wow.
And I hated it, and I didn't realize how much I was going to hate it. The lesson I learned there is don't major in what your parents tell you to, major in what you want to. And I dropped out after my sophomore year with a 3.8 GPA because I really, really did not want to be a civil engineering major, which is what I was. And I bounced around life for a while before I went back. And instead of doing college with a full scholarship and, connections at NASA, instead I finished college through night school while working full time.
Wow.
I got my master's or my MBA while I was working full time at Apple. Mm-hmm. And so, I kind of wish I had taken a more linear way through school and had made my own choices and figured things out earlier. Because if I had approached that scholarship in a different way and changed my major successfully, which is the problem I was having, was letting them still pay for my education and letting me switch to either computer science or electrical engineering.
Yeah.
And if I had done that, a lot of things would have been easier, but I wouldn't necessarily be where I am now.
Yeah. And just one last question. Overall, what's some advice you have for other girls that want to pursue a STEM field?
I think the biggest advice I have is that STEM is not easy for a lot of people. It really chews people up. So I think you really need to understand it's more than just the coursework. When you're looking at STEM, it can be exceptionally rewarding, but understanding the field you want to get into, where your potential endpoints can be, understanding the limits of academia. Unfortunately, for example, I think in certain areas of like molecular biology, less than 5% of postdocs will ever get tenure.
Oh.
So understanding how difficult these fields are, not to discourage people, but know what you're getting into and look at what your other options are. I think that we define STEM very broadly and very gloriously, and it's not that it's not great. It's that, like anything, if it's going to be a career, think about how is it going to be a career? What are you going to do with this?
Yeah.
What are your long-term goals? What can you do, and what sort of experiences or internships or other things can supplement what you're doing with your STEM career, and don't just look at it as such a narrow thing.
Definitely, yeah.
But think about it. I think that we spend a lot of time when we talk about STEM talking to people about the math side or talking about the engineering side, and I think the science side does not get as much of a look. I think that having a well-balanced curriculum is the biggest thing I would tell people, is that when you're looking into a career in STEM, make sure you're balancing it, because those writing skills, public speaking skills, understanding the history of things, having an appreciation for business, all of these things will really benefit you more than just focusing on a single subject.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So my advice for people in STEM is be well-rounded.
Yeah, definitely. I think that goes for a lot of different fields, but I can definitely see in STEM especially how you need a lot of it to even get through. So,
yeah, and I think it's hard. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's hard for women in STEM. It's traditionally been hard. It's getting better. It's hard for women in the workplace still in STEM in some areas. I think biology, biotech is probably the best with women.
Yeah.
But a lot of the other fields, it's not only bad, but it's getting worse.
Yeah.
The divides are actually increasing. And I think understanding, without saying, oh, yes, girls should go into STEM, but actually having a very forthright conversation about the barriers they're going to be facing and what they need to do to get across those barriers.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Thank you so much for letting me interview you today, and I really, really appreciate it.
No problem. And, I don't mean to be negative because I really want, people to be able to do the best that they can be.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much.
No problem. Have a good day. I hope
You
you're
too.
enjoying the start of summer.
Yeah, as much as I can.
All right. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode of All About Her. I know I definitely did, and thanks again to Maria for this interview. Look out for episode 2 next week, and in the meantime, remember to stay safe, stay strong, and stay snazzy. Toodles!